Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm filming in a new location today. I've moved. My apartment is haphazard, but I like it a lot. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about my Camino hike. If you've seen the videos by now, I did the Camino Portuguese route all across the northern part of Portugal and then Spain all the way to Santiago. It took me like 10 days. It was an epic bucket list adventure and I definitely did some things wrong. So in this video, I am going to walk through all the things that I wish I had known before doing specifically the Portuguese Camino, but I think these can apply to any Camino. But before we get started, I just want to say that I recommend this adventure so much. It was so epic and I learned so much about myself. It is a great solo travel trip, so if you are interested in solo traveling, especially if you're a female, I would highly recommend a Camino. I had no weird experiences. There were so many people out there hiking alone, so it was great. Without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, my number one piece of advice is to not pack too much. In an ideal world, your pack is about 10 to 15% of your body weight, and mine was definitely over that. I actually struggled so much with my pack weight and how heavy it was. To be frank, like part of the Camino is gonna be difficult and uncomfortable, but because my pack was so heavy, I made it unnecessarily difficult and uncomfortable. So as you're packing, just keep in mind like things that you actually need. Since I was going alone, I wanted some extra safety precautions. So like I took my laptop, I took extra chargers, and the reality was that, you know, I probably didn't need to bring those. They gave me peace. But as you're packing, like making sure that you're thinking through just everything and like, does it have a clear purpose? I think that the comfort that you get from having more stuff at your lodging does not outweigh the discomfort that you get from having too many things and then having to carry it. You can also do luggage service. I didn't look into that too much. I would say it's about 50-50% of people that do luggage service versus people that do not. The one thing I will say is you can easily cut down weight by being more intentional about your clothes. So you really only need like one hiking outfit, pajamas, and then a walking around town outfit. You will probably wear the same things every day. You can wash your clothes every night. That is such a normal thing to do on the Camino. And I had way too many outfits. I had like an airport outfit, I had 2 hiking outfits, I carried clothes for 150 miles that I never actually needed. So don't be that person. Okay, my next piece of advice is not booking lodging so intensely. This is kind of a weird piece of advice and it kind of depends on your personal preference. So the Camino is one of the experiences where you could, probably the most that I've ever seen, where you could truly like plan nothing except for buying a ticket and then just showing up and winging it. Like it is so adaptable to spontaneous, fly by the seat of your pants type of planning. And that's just not me. So I looked on different websites, particularly apps. There are 3 apps that you can use that are pretty popular amongst the Camino hikers. They are Van Camino, Wise Pilgrim, and Camino Ninja. And all of the Caminos are broken down into specific stages or sections. And the idea is that you do like 1 stage a day or like half a stage. You kind of break it up how you want. But most pilgrims are following a similar path and they're stopping at the different towns or little cities along the way. So I made friends when I was hiking and we all were kind of doing the same stages at the same time, which made it really easy to like hike together. But the issue is that I had pre-booked lodging and they had not. So they had no issues like a day or 2 before or the night before booking their lodging for the next day, and they were all able to stay together. But because I had pre-booked lodging like a month in advance, I always stayed in different places and that wasn't as fun. I will say though, when you get to Santiago, you do want to book lodging in advance because all of the Caminos end at Santiago and that just makes it easier, less stress for you. But along the way, I was so nervous to do it, but it really truly is okay if you don't book lodging super far in advance. If you do have like booking the day of or booking the night before. For all my friends, worked out completely fine. I think the one exception to that is the last 100 kilometers anywhere, and then the French route is very busy the whole time. Okay, my third mistake that I made while hiking the Camino is not waking up earlier to hike. It was a heat wave. A major heat wave when we were hiking, and it got so hot by like 10 a.m. and I wish that I had woken up earlier because it was truly like so beautiful hiking at like 5 or 6 getting to see the sunrise. You're hiking through these beautiful Portuguese and Spanish fields. Then at sunrise, you have your best thoughts, it's your best clarity, you're fresh. But I only did that a couple times on the trip because it was so hard to get up. And in retrospect, looking back on it, I wish I just bited the bullet, gotten up earlier, enjoyed more of those quiet mornings, both because I thought that they led to better thinking, and part of the Camino is about thinking, and I would have avoided the heat a lot better. Everyone hikes their own hike and walks their own walk, but for me personally, I think it also would have saved me some stress for getting to lodging. I had a couple days where I was stressed about getting there on time. So yeah, be an early riser on the Camino, even if you're not in real life. Okay, this next one is my biggest mistake, my biggest regret, the thing that I didn't plan for that I think caused me a lot of unnecessary pain, and that is not having the correct shoes. So I've done the West Highland Way in Scotland earlier in the year, and I got in a very specific type of hiking shoe for that, and they worked great. I love these hiking shoes. I've gone on many hikes with them since. But the Camino is a little bit different, and this depends once again on what Camino you are doing. I did the Portuguese Central route. It had way more road walking and walking on these Roman cobblestone roads than I was prepared for. So I had hiking shoes that are absolutely great, but they didn't have a lot of cushion, and they worked so much better walking on a trail, like walking on dirt. This, what I did was walking on roads, and I just simply did not have enough cushion. So about like on day 4 probably, I started to feel excruciating pain in my feet, and it never really went away. I should definitely have walked in either trail runners or just plain running shoes because it was such a disaster. I didn't get blisters necessarily, but I got really, really painful just tenderness, and it hurt. And I wish that I, had like done more research on the route and like what particular type of terrain I was gonna be walking on, because I feel like I easily could have prevented that from happening. And then my last piece of advice is to just enjoy the rest moments. I'm a very anxious traveler, so throughout so many of these moments, I was just really stressed about like making it to lodging, making it to the next section, not getting lost, being able to get dinner. When you're solo traveling, you gotta think about everything a little bit more. And in retrospect, looking back and knowing that everything turned out fine, and everything will probably turn out fine for you too, I really wish I enjoyed the small moments more. Like I wish I had stopped at more cafes, I wish I had stopped at more churches, I wish I had taken the scenic route a little bit more, instead of just being so stressed about getting to the destination. There are some fast walkers on the Camino, and I think sometimes I was getting in my head of like, okay, I need to like keep up with these people, yada, yada, yada. But you walk your own walk, and the Camino is your own. So I wish I had just like chilled a little bit more about that. It's not a regret necessarily, but if I ever do another Camino, I am definitely just gonna take my time. I think a rest day would have also been pretty cool. Mine was 10 days, so it's like I could have had a rest day, could have not, but I think building in rest days if you're doing a hike like this can be really nice, because then you can enjoy it. Like you wanna have a certain pain threshold and a certain like discomfort level because you're doing a difficult thing, but when it surpasses that level and it gets uncomfortable, But I loved the Camino so much. And since I'm talking about mistakes, I also wanted to just highlight a couple things that I did well. I'll go through these rapid fire. Number 1 is having a sun shirt. I did not get sunburned on the entire Camino, and it's because I was covered up literally all the time. And I have no regrets, because sunburn is no good. My second thing that I think I did well was having cash. Some places were card only, but a lot of places way out there were cash, and just having euros and like planning that in advance and making sure that you're covered with that just eased my stress a little bit. I also think that I did a good job on being a hostel albergue visitor. I've stayed in a lot of hostels before. I know the etiquette for albergues and hostels, and I think that definitely like knowing kind of how to respect shared spaces leads to a better experience for you and a better experience for the other pilgrims. Another thing that I think I did well was trying all the food. There were so many yummy Portuguese and then Spanish dishes that were absolutely lovely that I still think about. And when you're so hungry on the Camino, having them is so good. So yeah, I highly recommend the Camino. I'm gonna be having a couple more videos coming out about cost and guides and what apps I recommend and how to plan everything. But if you're on the fence about it, take my advice, don't make the same mistakes that I did, and just book it. At the end of the day, all you have to do is just book a plane ticket for this and then choose how much extra planning you want to do. But it is truly an incredible, incredible adventure, and one that I simply cannot recommend enough. And if there are any hikes out there that are like the Camino, please let me know because I loved this style of travel so much. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a good adventure this week. I'll see you in the next one.